Rasneek.
I just know there's something. I be booted at the function. I never worry about the fuck shit. Hang with niggas, get the dumping. Love it when you get the touching. Yeah, you started something, and I can't help it if you love it. I be booted at the function. Hey, I love the things about her. I love the way she fuck me. I love the way she treat me. I be geeked up, oh don't trust me. I be geeked up, like I'm Chucky, yeah. I got bitches from the land of different countries, yeah. Love my life 777, that's why I'm lucky, yeah. Fuck the law, hitting cookies in the front seat, yeah. Fuck a drug, give me face until your nose bleed. I mean running, these hoes be too friendly, these niggas move funny. Can't fuck with the face, cut the head off a snake, please don't try me. Orion be gifted and grimy with life. Me take off with your bitch and then with Ricky Bobby. I do what I want with precision. Shorty want my last name, she thinking that I'm different. Make it bounce, I'm hitting switches, stress it, I just like some finish. I just know there's something. I be booted at the function. I never worry about the fuck shit. Hang with niggas, get the dumping. Love it when you get the touching. Yeah, you started something, and I can't help it if you love it. I be booted at the function.
Yeah, give me just 1 second. If you guys need to grab water or anything beforehand, feel free to do so. I'm just gonna pull up these messages.
I'm all prepared. I'm all ready to go.
Yeah, I might as well grab something with that chest.
Orion, where are you in Virginia?
I'm actually in Herndon, Virginia. It's kind of like, I don't know if you're familiar. It's kind of like 10 minutes away from Tyson's. Right, it's right by the Dulles Airport.
What's the city?
Herndon, Herdon.
Herda. No, I've never heard of it before.
Yeah, it's a small little. It's only really known for the airport being right there. I mean, little suburban place right outside of DC.
Do you guys know how many people are in the city?
Shit. Good question. I never checked that.
It's a solid place though. That's 23. This is in 2011. Holy shit! But 23,700 people.
Oh, that's small. That's smaller than my college.
Yeah, I think it's just like a small, like geographically smaller area.
Right.
Like it's just not that big. It's next to like Reston, Great Falls, if you know all that.
It's considered the greater Washington area. So
yeah,
it's like
metropolitan, whatever. Like
suburb outside the right outside Washington, as well as in Maryland is PG County. That's kind of like the equivalent.
So is it one of those cities where you guys know everybody?
I mean, shit. You can. I mean, like me. I mean, we social, so yeah. But
I moved away for 6 years to Richmond, so like there's still a hole in like some people I know. I came back. Ryan fucking knows everybody and their mom. So,
yeah, unfortunately. I mean, just the DMV period, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I bounced from Maryland to Virginia, not DC per se, but I mean, once you know the right people,
go to DC enough to just
once you know a good amount, you know everybody, especially in the field.
Okay, cool. So I got all of my questions in front of me, but yeah, I'm excited to interview you guys because Carmine introduced. Well, I spoke to you, Rasneek, a little bit about it. By the way, this is all recording, so
Okay, cool.
Just letting you know. But I spoke to Carmine about you, Rasneek, originally, and he was saying all these good things about you, and then he sent me Orion's stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, so you're Orion, but Rasneek must be your regular name. And so I was listening to all your stuff, Orion, and also, am I pronouncing it right, Orion?
Yeah, it's like the constellation. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I was listening to all your stuff, and I was like, yeah, Rasneek, I listened to all your music, and it was dope. Like, I'm excited to talk to you. And then he was like, oh, yeah, Ryan's my boy. Rasneek is like, that's me, but
Yeah.
I have all this other music. So I listened to both of your stuff, and I really vibe with it. Like, I have been listening to all different kinds of music. Like, my taste in music is all over the place. And so I loved both of your styles because it's like a little bit hip hop, a little bit electro funk, a little bit of pop, and it's dope. Like the one thing I tell all the artists that I work with is like, I want to support your brand and see you guys grow, because if I vibe with it, I'm sure that there are a lot of other people in the world that could vibe with it too. And like, why not get your guys' brand out there if we can do it? So
if you like the music, why not? That's what it all matters. If you like the music, I don't want anyone to post anything or do anything for us at all unless the music like hits them.
Unless you like it, right? Unless because that's the base of everything.
Yeah. So Orion, I was telling Rasneek when I was on the phone with him that Finessed Media is essentially like, I built it with a group of other artists, or like 2 other artists, who we essentially saw a gap in the music industry where people just didn't know how to get their music out there. Like, they didn't know where to start with certain things. And so originally it was all about the educational side of things, and it still is. But we were doing events and media production. So when I started the business, I was trying to do all of this stuff to help people understand how to make it in the music industry. And now with all the stuff that's going on with the coronavirus, like, we're restructuring things. So like, my goal is to build up a media company, essentially just online, where people can learn from different artists regardless of where you're at in your career. So like, it doesn't matter if you only have 200 followers or you have 50,000. Like, everybody wants to get their music out there. So you guys, like, I was listening to your music, I was like, damn, they're good.
I mean, was there anything in particular that you liked, like, or like?
Yeah. So let me see. There was one song of yours, Rasneek, that I really liked. Well, I listened to Love Switch, which I really enjoyed, but for you, Orion, the one that I really liked when I first listened wasn't from your new album. It was actually from one of your past releases. Let me see if I can pull it up. It was P90X.
Yeah.
And then for you, Rasneek, the one that I really liked, let me just see which one it was. I was just listening to it. It was Vibe With Me.
Okay, dope.
Yeah.
Awkward, hell yeah, awesome.
Yeah, and you guys, you mostly work together, right? But then you also do a lot of work independently. Is that right?
Yeah, we do.
Cool. Can you guys tell me a little bit about like how your partnership started working? Like, how you guys started working together as the Orion times Rasneek?
Yeah.
I mean, you wanna start the story off?
Yeah, man. I mean, really, all of this, to be honest, our whole story is really just unconventional, even till today. I mean, I think it all just started, because we started off as actual friends before both of us even thought about ever doing music. I mean, we met in high school, like literally, like, as no funny shit, we really met each other like in the lunch line. I like skipped lunch one of these days. He had some shoes on that I really liked. He had some Jordans on, and went from there. I was like, dang, nice shoes. Boom, boom. And went for a.
You remember that?
Yeah, I got a good memory now. Yeah, and it was really that casual.
It was a really weird first meeting too. It was so weird, but funny.
In the lunch line, honestly. And then we figured out that we had mutual friends. Then we started hanging outside after school. We went to my boy's house at the time, and basically my boy's setup, I think this is when it really started to happen. My boy had a Mac, like a big Mac computer, speakers, a TV, and we used to just smoke a lot of weed after school, drink, put on that damn Mac with some beats, and we all just off some like parties, try to freestyle. I think that's kind of the first spark of that. And then as time progressed, I mean, you like Russ said, you know, as time progressed, you know, Russ goes to VCU. It's a big art school in Virginia. He goes there. As he's going to VCU, I'm starting to kind of dabble and dabble and starting to actually rap a little bit because SoundCloud starts to come out, and I was putting stuff on Facebook with some other rap people. And as I'm doing that, as I'm bubbling with like working on how to actually start rapping, he's starting to dabble and dabble and making beats. And, you know, I thought he was just playing at first. And even when I was starting to rap, I used to tell him, yeah, I'm rapping a little bit. It wasn't really ever anything, but as he was brewing up, I was cooking up, kind of just, we was just getting nice.
It just happened. We started around the same time, so we both kind of got good around the same time. Like,
were you guys creating any music on your own before that?
Yeah, I kind of was. Well, when Russ was first going to Richmond, he was still making the beats a lot. Well, he was like still kind of like starting to learn how to make beats and stuff. I kind of already released one song, well, maybe two songs with this one local artist who's been like he had like a whole rap crew around our area. He was already doing stuff on Facebook a lot. So I just kind of linked with them. And that was the first time I ever rapped on like on an actual recorded my voice on something. And so I had two songs until he finally, Russ was already like, at that point, he was already like doing good. And I was like, all right, well, it makes sense to just start, okay. You know what I mean? Because we idolized already like Jay-Z and, you know, Pharrell and Kanye. So, you know, already that producer, artist thing we already knew about through other big names. So we're like, yo, it only makes sense to like work with the homies.
Yeah.
It was like a no-brainer. You know what I mean?
I didn't really make much. Like I was like a traditional like musician. Like I was like a percussionist, and like I did that for like 6 years, like all throughout high school, like from elementary school. But and that definitely influenced like my producing and stuff. But besides like that, I didn't really like make music kind of before like this whole thing started like 5 years ago. Like it was kind of just like I had messed around making beats a couple years before that on GarageBand, and then I never really looked back. And then me and him just became friends, started just like drinking, hanging out a bunch. And then once I left Herndon, then it just kind of started bubbling up. I don't know. It was kind of random, but it's just the progression. We were kind of just on the same level around the same time.
Yeah. Were you guys starting to do this? Did you start just having fun, messing around, and then all of a sudden you were like, damn, this is good. Like, let's actually make good music.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly it, I think.
But the freestyles, like the early on, like when we was just all of us used to just freestyle. Not to even like toot my own horn, but like people like they used to always be like, "Yo, Ryan," like, because there have been points when I started really getting good at it. I was freestyling like from the beginning of the instrumental to the end of it, and like all of our homies, including the rest, were like, "Yo, dang, bro!" Like, you know, at the end of it, everybody's like, "Damn, what the fuck? Like, this is actually like more than just, you know what I mean? Like more than."
It's crazy. Every freestyle he would do would be like a verse. Yeah, I would be so disappointed. I'm like, bro, why didn't we record this on the phone? We could have had to go to the studio later or something. But like before we were even doing any music, it was just us like freestyling every day. It was like a religious thing. Like I would call him, all right, roll up, bring the pack, blah, blah, blah. And we'll just sit on his deck, smoke, and then just put on instrumentals, freestyle over and over. It's like a group of us. But then like when Orion's turn comes, everybody shuts up and everybody just moves a little closer. And it's like, all right, what's he gonna say? And then it just progressed. Like, and we didn't know, but looking back now, those were kind of just like developing our like kind of
it was the precursor of shit. Like, you know, but I think it all started from a pure place. You feel me? Just really just having fun. Like we wasn't starting off like, yo, we got to make $1 million. Like it was never off some like chasing some type of plays.
Yeah, I'm trying to get some girls. Let's get famous. Let's do this.
We was already just doing fuck shit, and it was just like, yo, this was a hobby that we enjoyed doing, and okay. Too many people keep saying, okay, this is good. So people not lying. You know
How do you guys describe your music? Like, is there a specific style that you really gravitate towards?
Oh,
shit, bro. I mean, to be totally honest with you, I'm so scatterbrained with it. Like if you just listen to the type of music that I like, it's from trap to indie. I'm basically more trapping than indie. There's really like in between for real.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always I had like two sides. It was like that my rap shit that I used to always love, but on the low, I wouldn't even tell my homies I was bumping like indie shit. You know what I mean? Because friends that I had from school got me hip to that, and I used to love listening to when I was like high or something. So I was mixing that and that, and even now, it's just really what the vibe is. Literally, when I sit down in the studio, like how are we feeling? Like we'll play just a lot of different people's music,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, you know what? I want to make something in that realm, and then we just go from that. Like it's really just there's no formula. Like we just make how we're feeling that day.
Mm-hmm. Is it the same for you, Rasneek?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I have like the luxury of like trying a lot more different shit. You know what I'm saying? Like as a producer, I can like really like go from genre to genre. But yeah, it's a lot of it is what I'm feeling. Like it's kind of harder for me to make beats with like a focus and a mission rather than like if I just like go in there with nothing, just like a blank mind, then I end up doing something like amazing every time. But yeah, I don't know. I describe it as like very diverse but I have like a sound now. People have told me that they can hear my sound. People who are close to me who've heard a lot of my beats, but I don't know. I'd say like slightly like futuristic. Like I definitely have gone from like trap to like if you heard Vibe With Me, like that whole album, it's all pop, like almost straight like groovy house pop, and then like with Orion, it's like harder rap stuff, and then I've done some straight just like house records with no like voices, just like house, like a instrumental. But I don't know, it's all over the place. I like experimenting. I like being like super diverse. I like pop music. I want to produce like for some big pop artists for sure. Like,
you guys have some really dope music. I was listening to it on repeat. Seriously, like Orion, I put P90X on. I just liked it so that I could listen to it, and I'm one of those people who listens to these songs like 100 times until I get tired of it. And I haven't got tired of it yet. So
that's an earlier one, and that's crazy because that's one of the earlier ones too. Like what I mean, we was already. I really like when people say that because that's really that's the only thing I go in the studio thinking about. Like, I want some shit that people, because I love music that I replayed 500 times before I get tired of it. So I'm just trying to make the shit that I like. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to have the same reaction that I have when I bump a Drake song or a Kanye joint or like. So I take pride in when people just say, "Yo, I bumped your shit like at least twice, like back to back." When I first time, like,
it's a crazy feeling, bro. People are giving you like their time and attention, and like,
that's not a big compliment. I like when people say that. Like that's more than anything. Like because that's what it was geared towards.
What are some of the main struggles that you guys have seen as artists? Because I know, Rasneek, I know I spoke to you about some of yours, but like you both work together. So what have you seen as a team?
I think a lot of it, at least in our local area, I don't know, it's a lot more of like knowing people than we had originally anticipated. We thought like, oh, we can just do our own thing. The music is so good. We have such good taste and our minds are this, we'll do all this. Like, we don't really need to like, rub shoulders with everybody, do all this. Like, and the music is great. And now we're kind of like, I wouldn't say the same position. We've definitely kind of moved up a little bit, but like we're still kind of in the same world. So like maybe I think the big thing is like don't take like networking and relationships lightly. Kind of treat that just as if not more important than the music. Because people with like, at least to our eyes or to our ears, it's like not as good music as us, and they're just in a way better position because it's some people they know. So yeah, I think that maybe, which we attempted to like kind of change up before the album came out and met a good amount of people, but then this virus happened, so we're kind of all just like
stuck inside.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that was probably a big struggle of ours to kind of first like just be self-aware and kind of realize we weren't doing it, and then kind of addressing it and like, all right, like let's make these moves and let's realize that like there's a chance that it could happen alone, but those are like the exceptions, not like the rules, you know?
Mm-hmm. What kinds of people are you trying to meet right now?
Managers, I mean, DJs, radio, you know what I'm saying, radio DJs, at least in the DC area. I mean, while I'm out in LA, you know, I want to definitely like get a vibe for like some of the local bars and stuff, and kind of find out where like my vibe is, like where I'm comfortable, and then maybe find, you know, talk to the DJ, talk to whoever's there, just meet more people, you know, just involved in general, you know, not necessarily like, oh, I need to meet this person so we can get Orion signed, you know, but I'm sure just meeting more people will open more doors, you know. I don't know. I don't know anything in particular.
Well, not to cut you off, but like even like what he's saying, like 100%, I think just to meet more people just in the music realm that are not artists as well. Like, I mean, okay, I can meet artists all day. I can meet my peers, but like Russ said, as we starting to get older, as we starting to do this stuff, it's more, the big part of the music game is the other side of the game, which is not the artist, which is not actually making the music, which we are extremely good at. It's all the other things, the DJs, people like you, people, the PR people, the marketing people, the tastemakers, or whatever you want to call them, like just meeting more of them and being more aware that they are out there. Because I know like when I first started, yeah, it was the same. I had the same vibe. We make great music, nothing else. We don't got to worry about anything else, which is not the case anymore. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just one part of it. That's one side of the token. And
what are some successes that you guys have seen? Because I know you've gotten more than 3 million views on, what was it? The
TTG.
What was it? TTG? Yeah, I also like that track. I listened to that one a lot too.
Right.
Yeah.
Was that produced by or was that produced by you, Rasneek?
Nah, it wasn't.
Okay. But besides TTG, which I know got you a lot of play, what are some other successes you've seen?
P90X, that's like kind of second place. P90X. As far as song success, yeah, P90X. Huh?
VCU Homecoming was pretty crazy.
VCU Homecoming was kind of like the pinnacle of like, all right, yeah, we could kind of do this. You feel me? Like, it was after, because TTG was like a late bloomer. Like, it took like 2 years after it got dropped for it to even reach any type of traction. Once that happened, we started getting a lot of shows, local shows, a lot of house shows. But then VCU Homecoming, that was like the biggest show we've ever did because it was like a main stage. It was over like 3,000 people. I mean, opened up for Travis Scott and Goldlink.
You guys opened up for Travis Scott?
Yeah.
Goldlink. Wow. It was crazy. It was crazy.
It was actually, to this day, it don't even seem, I forget sometimes. I'm like, damn, that actually happened. Like, Russ DJ'd the whole
show, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a big thing. It was, and I think that was our first taste of, damn, okay.
So that was right. Crazy.
Green room, you know, like people, you know, just seeing kind of the process behind the curtain and just from that stage perspective of seeing like thousands of people like in front of you, that's like a feeling that, you know, not a lot of people gonna ever experience, you feel me? And I was just like, all right, that kind of confirmed. I was like, all right, we could do that. We could do this. It's not, you know, but other than that, like I'm trying to think.
Small successes, like incremental successes,
right.
You know, whether it's just like crossing like a certain amount of plays and shit, but
slow build. It's just like a lot of the stuff, and I was just telling the rest about. It's weird, like with my music, I drop it and then it has like this kind of slow, steady build. It's never like, it's always like you look at graphs, it's always steadily going up. Like, it might not be.
Can you guys talk about that a little bit? Because I think in the music industry, everyone, like when they're getting started out, they're like, all right, my music's going to be a big hit and I'm going to be famous right away. But I think it's important for a lot of people to understand the growth in that. So can you guys talk a little bit about your journey in like that slow and steady pace and what that has meant for you guys as like understanding the music industry?
Yeah. I mean, I think one thing that really helped us out, and this is just my opinion, I mean, maybe like age-wise, we started a little bit, not late, I guess, but it wasn't like we were like 15 making like shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's a little bit of maturity into it. I think us already being fans of just like extreme fans of music and knowing and having the interest of looking like how this stuff works. We already had the mindset knowing that like, all right, bro, it just doesn't happen once you upload. Like, I think what helped us out a lot, we already had that realization that this is like going into the NFL or something. Like, it's not you. It's a game that you're just not going to get into and just think you're finna like. It rarely happens.
Yeah.
And I just think having that clear mindset ahead of time will save a lot of heartbreak, a lot of depression that some people get, a lot of just like a lot of frustration. So just knowing that you don't have to put in that work. And I think what helped the stuff just gradually get up, I honestly think just my gradual success with music-wise, I think it's just making good music. Make the good music first, make it as good and make it as high quality as you can at the time. Drop it, do whatever you want, but then just keep consistently dropping good shit. And then I guess build up your fan base. It's kind of hard to like explain because like for me, it's the way it happened, it's still happening, is really unconventional. Like the path is really winding.
What do you mean is unconventional?
Well, like, cause like for me, like we made like over like millions of plays on like a song, but it's like it did not even happen overnight. It wasn't even like a smash. Like it didn't even really set off until like almost a year and a half, almost 2 years after. You know what I mean? And to this day, don't know how, but I think it's just when you make good shit, the right ears listen to it. And maybe it might not be tomorrow or next week, but once those ears hear it, it's like it goes viral, like in a literal sense. It's like a virus. It starts spreading. But I think while you're waiting for your songs to spread, just start building that good catalog and the skills that we know now, I wish we knew back in the day of just putting emphasis on like rollout and like marketing. You know what I mean? Just like just how you presenting the music, man. Like
and Russ, it's a little bit sorry. You can keep going away.
Go ahead.
For you it's a little bit different because you're a producer. And I think it's also important for producers to understand how their roles are very different than an artist, and
For sure.
your success is not as quick as an artist's success is. So can you talk a little bit about your experience there?
For sure. I mean, going off of what he was saying kind of on that last point real quick, I agree. It's for us is we don't have like a formula. We're kind of just like releasing. I mean, we're releasing and we're doing a lot of like working the records after the fact, like sending them out, you know, the press kits, blah, blah, blah. I think that's a big thing too for people. Like, don't just release and just sit there. Like, run some digital ads. They're cheap as hell. Like, go find your DJs in your local area. Go walk up to your local bar, talk to the DJ. Like, and the music has to be good ultimately. You know what I'm saying? But on what you were saying about what was the question again? As a producer?
How has your success been, or what has your trajectory been?
Yeah, I don't know. It's different. It's definitely different for sure. Like me and O have shared a lot of success together because like that's like my main kind of artist that I work with. But I don't know. It's different. It's different as a producer because I mean he can work with as many producers as he likes. You know what I'm saying? I can work with as many artists as I like. It's not like we're exclusively only working with each other.
Mhm.
So I guess that's the different thing. The fact that I can kind of like, I can try different things. I can be more experimental and kind of get away with it. Like how I'm like, I feel like Orion and Awkward are like Awkward Shaman, like that Sweet album are just like complete opposites. Like here's an R&B singer making pop music, and here's a rapper like rapping about like some hard shit. Like I don't know. It's definitely different as a producer. But I don't know. Like a lot of big producers will all just say like, try to find an artist. Like everyone will be like, oh, how do I get placements? How do I get placements? I want to get on this album, that album. And a lot of advice that I've heard is just like, find an artist locally, build with them. Build with them. And that's what all these producers keep saying, build with them. You know, we were already kind of doing this naturally. And like, it's a blessing because Orion's actually good. And I'm actually a fan of his, like aside from us being friends and working together, which is like rare. Cause I have a lot of friends that make music, but a lot of them, I don't really like their music that much. I can't vibe, but, luckily,
Be like that.
I'm a genuine fan though, because I can't within myself like work so hard for someone if I'm not passionate about it, you know. And like I'll give Orion my best beats gladly. Like if I'm like, oh, this beat is so fire, like Drake could get on this, or I want to hold it or save it. Orion could get some of those beats, but not like really many other people. But I don't know. I think as an artist, it's important to like, or as a producer, it's important to like definitely like pick that artist or two and kind of build with them from the ground up. Like, let's say you're only 2 years into it, find another artist that's only like 2-3 years into it. So you're not getting like an 8-year experienced artist who wants to work with like incredible, you know, you can kind of build together how me and Orion did, but don't put your eggs in one basket. Like obviously like Orion's talented and stuff, but like, I don't get any benefit from exclusively working with him. You know, if there's another artist that I like, we click and I'm a fan of his and he's talented, like, which is kind of what happened with Awkward. It just naturally happened. I was working at a studio. He naturally just booked a session. I didn't know him. We met from me being his engineer. And then I was like, dude, I have some beats. And it progressed like that. So like, I think definitely find that artist you want to build with, but maybe find 2 or 3. And maybe don't be afraid to expand into other genres and kind of experiment, because all of that stuff you learn in that other genre will come full circle into whatever your real passion is, you know, producing. But yeah, I would say that don't put all your eggs in one basket, but definitely still find that local artist or two to like build with. Because I believe Orion's going to be successful. I believe Awkward's going to be successful. But I mean, who knows, you know? And as a producer, like, I don't want to just stick with one guy and then just, you know, why not work with 3-4 artists who are all talented, increase my chances of getting some type of success while just diversifying like my catalog and like, yeah.
How do you guys push each other? Like you're both working on your own stuff. So how do you keep it reaching out to each other? Like, do you send each other text messages every day being like, I miss you, and like we gotta work together?
I definitely pester this man a lot. I pester him. Annoying. I am. I'm like a just productivity, just fiend, you know. I don't know. Maybe it was college, maybe it was VCU, but like I can snap into like work at any moment, at any time of day, anywhere, as long as I got my laptop. And like, I don't know. And as a producer, I feel like it's just easier for me to kind of pump out beats than it is for him to kind of write a verse, because his verses are just like, he takes a while to write. That's the thing. It's like frustrating, but like every time it turns out fire. So like, I'll wait. You know what I'm saying? I'll wait. But yeah, I mean, I hit him every day. I try to just bug him. I try to like act like I'm like, yo, you do this today. You do this today. You do this today. Like, because I mean, it's development. You know what I'm saying? We all gotta get better.
Because honestly, if it wasn't him doing that, I didn't have people on my ass, honestly speaking, you know, because like he said, I mean, the writing process for artists is a little bit different, especially for me, because you can't just always just write something that could be relatable and could be like from you quick like that. At least I can't, you know what I mean? So like it does sometimes I can't snap into that mode. If I'm not feeling it for the day, it's hard for me to snap into it. Or if I do snap into it, you could hear the difference, like in the verse. But I mean, having people on your team, you know what I mean, like Russ, or just even if it's not even your producer or anything like that, or not even music related, somebody who's just on your ass, who genuinely, like, you know, is passionate about your craft as well. And, you know, could be like, yo, like, did you do that? Did you do that? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, just, you know, daily reminders. 'Cause, you know, a lot of times, sometimes it's hard to be focused. Like me, like when it comes to writing, yeah, sometimes it is a headache. I'm like, damn, like I gotta take a break. I gotta take a little 30-minute break. I gotta do this and that just to write like a verse. But it's probably just you know, with this music shit, it's no one clear path. Everybody has a unique kind of way of doing things, and it's one of my ways of doing things, man. But people like Russ, always on my ass. I don't care if he thinks he's annoying me. It's honestly, I respect it because it's not annoying me because it's actually, this is a good thing to do. Like,
yeah, I think some people create differently. I create like more kind of strict and like schedule oriented, where I'm like, all right, I need to make this number of stuff today. Like I need to knock out this, whether good or bad. For Orion, and I've definitely had moments and weeks where I kind of do the Orion route where, you know what, I'm not feeling inspired, I'm just not going to work. You know, if I'm feeling inspired and I really just like am itching to make a beat, I'll make a beat, but I'm not going to sit there and just like force myself to do it. But I've seen good results from both. So it's kind of just like,
yeah,
each person has their own kind of like creative way of doing things. But still, I'm still going to bug him. I don't care how long it takes to write a verse.
And you need people like that, like Russ. You need people like Russ to like help you distinguish whether are you really not inspired or
just being lazy.
Are you loafing? Yeah, are you loafing? And then sometimes you're like, damn fool, you right. All right. You know what I mean? Then we lock in and do some shit. And then that's kind of a lot of what Cyberpunk is, actually. A lot of the creative process with that. Not to get off topic, but it was legit.
Yeah. Why don't can you guys actually talk about Cyberpunk a little bit, because that was your latest release, and I know you're trying to gain some traction on it. So yeah, go ahead and talk about it a little bit.
Shit. Yeah. So basically, Cyberpunk really is just, you know, it's just a child of me, Russ, and my man Rez Ekberton, he goes by Late London, who does most of the pop stuff, and my man Cashby. It was just kind of like just all of our thoughts transferred to me, and I blurted them out on some shit, and then that's what Cyberpunk is. Like literally, that's kind of how I could explain it. You know, I just kind of like took the powers from all of them three and just kind of transferred it. I mean, I like to look at stuff like in a, like, you know what I mean, like in a playful,
like,
manner anyway. So that's kind of what the whole vibe was. So basically, the way Cyberpunk happened, I normally was only known for just always dropping singles. We'll roll out singles like they're an album. Each single will have like a little slight rollout. We'll keep shopping around that single for like a whole 3 months. I would only drop like maybe 3 songs a year.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody, as I was gaining more traction, everybody's like, yo, when a tape coming up? When a tape coming up? Even when I wanted to like send shit to like, you know, managers or like other people who were outside of the little music scene I was in, it was always like, yo, where's your body of work? Like, okay, you got any tapes out? I'm like, damn. So, you know, it was always in the back of my mind, yo, we need a tape. We need like an introduction to like me as well as Rush, like, you know what I mean? As well as his instrumentals, you know what I mean? As well as, because maybe he might defer, but in my eyes, nobody was ever getting on Russ's beats properly, in my eyes, you know what I mean? Like, nobody was, I know what he can do. He knows what I can do. And I'm like, shit, nobody was really doing his shit justice. And as well as when I was outsourcing producers and working with other producers, nobody was really getting my vibe like I wanted them to. So I think it kind of like life happened. Russ moved back up to Northern Virginia at like the right time. It's kind of how life was just happening. He moved back up to Northern Virginia. My man opened up a studio down the street from my house where I used to rap with. He just started making, you know, he started opening up a studio. And it just kind of really made sense. I was like, yo, you know, we're just like, yo, I mean, we made like 2 songs back to back, and I was like, and it was of a certain vibe already, like that kind of synthy vibe already. So I was like, shit, let's just keep going at this shit. Like, let's just keep going while we got that same
momentum
going with this kind of like robotic, cyber-esque like vibe. Let's just keep at that.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time Russ got back up to Northern Virginia, I accidentally linked with my man Res Ekberton, or Late London, and I met him unconventionally in the club. Wasn't even there for music, but we met in the club, was drunk. Hey man, I make music. I was like, me too. And he's like, I got a studio. Link up with me next week. Did that, found out that he was like a phenomenal house DJ, and he was making beats on the side. And this was already shit that I always wanted to do. I was experimenting with Russ. But, Russ is not a classic house EDM kind of guy. You know what I mean? So when I linked up with Rez, he's a little bit older. He's a little bit older than me and Russ. It made sense. He had the same kind of vibe that Russ did in the studio when, like, he listens to what you want to make. We listen to shit before we start actually creating. It was the same exact kind of vibe. It was the weirdest thing. I found a new sound with Rez, or Late London. Mm-hmm. And that's when my little pop house vibe started happening. And fast forward, Russ moves back up here. I'm like, damn, now I rap and I do this house music. Let's just fuse the two and let's make my introduction.
Mm-hmm. I like it. It's music. I'm not super big into EDM and electronic music, but I like a lot of trap. And so finding a balance between the trap and hip hop space and the electronic space, it's cool because, you can relate to both different genres.
Exactly.
That was the whole, I think, if anybody were to take away from the project, that was like the whole like secret point of the project. Like, yo, I'm just bridging the gap. I'm just trying to bridge it because I'm not gonna say I'm a big EDM fan. I'm a beginner EDM fan, like just like the rest of us. I'm trying to make something for the people who might not really, they're not big rave heads or anything like that, but they like, because there's certain rave EDM qualities in rap right now anyway. Mm-hmm. So I'm just showing you that, I mean, look, they're kind of the same thing, just arranged differently. If you think about it, they all use synths. Some of the BPMs sometimes are the same. I mean, I made it a point, we made it a point to like put like 808 drums in something like E-Girl. Like E-Girl is like a whole like rave ass song, but it has like trap 808s in it. Mm-hmm. Like Love Switch, stuff like that. Like we just really, blended. We try to blend those both worlds because that's what I was doing at the time. I had 2 different sides of my different artists by accident, but yeah.
Russ, it's a little bit different for you because I was listening to some of your music and it's more like hip hop or R&B. Yeah. And so with Cyberpunk, was it harder for you to create that kind of music?
Not really. I mean, to be honest, like what he was saying when we were like kind of making some of these songs in the studio, it wasn't even really like, all right, this is for Cyberpunk. Let's have a Cyberpunk session. Let's have an album cook-up session. It was kind of like, I was like, I had just finished working, like finished a couple studio sessions, and I was just like free in the evening. And like, it was a couple of days. I was like, yo, you want to pull up? Like, let's cook something up. And we're casually chilling. Like I'm casually half-assed making a beat while talking to him and talking to whoever's in the room. And he's kind of just chit-chatting, and like, those are the best sessions because it's so relaxed. And I'll just literally, he won't even be like, yo, let's go. Or I won't even be rushing. It'll just be like, all right, I'm off of work. Like pull up to the studio. Let's hang out, watch some shit, like drink a beer, make a little beat, record a little hook. And like, that's kind of how like most, if not like half the songs on the album happen. Us just kind of cooking up naturally. I'll play a couple sounds. I'll do a couple drums. Orion will be like, hey, what if you did this? What if you did this? Or if I play something, he'll be like, yo, keep going with that, keep going. He'll like produce a little bit, you know what I'm saying? He knows generally it's more of like an instinct kind of just feeling. When you hear a sound, it's like, yo, run with that, you know? Yeah. But yeah, it was so natural. It was just natural. You know, a lot of those we recorded like the hooks and verses like those same nights, You know what I'm saying? Like just looping the beat, sitting there waiting for him to write it. Bam, an hour and a half. Like the song's like pretty much done. But yeah, so and like he said also with Rez too, because like some of the records with Rez on the album I co-produced with him. There was like houseier record, like Love Switch. I did the keys and a couple other instruments on there. And like Orion was saying earlier, me and him were already kind of experimenting on that sound, like the house kind of vibe. Like we were trying to make like some clubby electronic.
Years prior to it.
Years prior, you know, kind of inspired by like Yeezus and like some 808s and Heartbreak, kind of futuristic sound. This is just our vibe that we just like felt like was like the future, and it was cool. And I love like poppy kind of house mix, electronic pop. I was big into like Soulection, if you know what Soulection.
Oh yeah.
And that to me is like the perfect, like all those producers on there are like what I aspire to be. Like I aspire to make music like that, where it's like I don't need an artist necessarily. I can make standalone crazy beats that are like captivating and like they keep your attention and shit. But anyway, that kind of inspired me before the Cyberpunk stuff to really experiment and try different things, because I saw how they were like blending genres, like mixing trap and like electronic elements, but it was leaning towards kind of trap, which is my taste, you know? And so like me being like a trap guy trying to make some house shit, and then Rez being like a super house guy dabbling in hip hop, and his hip hop beats were kind of my hip hop beats were, my house beats were kind of you know what I'm saying? And then we kind of met, and then with these incredible Cyberpunk sessions and just sessions with Orion, I learned so much about house music. I told him some stuff about like how I generally make trap beats, you know what I'm saying? And like that sound kind of like encompasses the whole album. Like I definitely take most of the trappier production from it, but like that futuristic clubby sound, I think is like, that is Cyberpunk, you know?
What are your guys' favorite songs from the album?
All of them. Sorry.
That's not helpful.
I don't know, honestly. Like, I feel, mine changes all the time. And me having like produced half of it, like, to be honest, like I get so sick of my songs. So my favorite switches between the two that I didn't produce, which is E-Girl and Epidemic. Just because like I think I've just heard the other ones so many times. I haven't heard those as much, and they just sound more fresh to me. But I love the whole thing. I like once we got it done, and it just played. It just hears. It sounds different playing it like through in order. You know?
A project, right?
So I'm hearing it differently still, even like.
Same. I still mine is probably, I'm gonna say Epidemic or Drummy, because my father's side of the family, they're Caribbean, so I already like that dance hall kind of Afrobeat shit, and that was like Russ's rendition. We try to emulate that a little bit without being like, I think we did it okay, without trying to be like too cringy, like just really trying to use like yardy talking shit, like without just sounding like I'm appropriating something. You know
and I didn't want to just completely copy like J5, like WizKid, Burna Boy. Like, I didn't want to do that exactly. I wanted to add like my trappy twist to like a kind of dance hall. And I think it's still us, but it's to that realm, but it's not like I'm using all this slang that I don't know, and like just I always thought that was corny to me when I seen artists do that. So I made it a point to not. If it wasn't going to sound natural, it wasn't even going to be on there. You know what I mean?
It's art.
Yeah.
I like your guys' style, because I noticed that too. In your music, you take different aspects of areas that you like. So you might like a little bit of trap, you might like a little bit of R&B, some pop, some electro-funk, and you somehow combine it to still be your style.
Yeah.
I really, really liked. I didn't get to listen to the whole Cyberpunk album because I was replaying the same songs from you guys over and over and over again.
That's a good problem.
But seriously, like I think you guys are really talented, and I like interviewing people in this kind of space. Like you're kind of underground, but you've seen a lot of success in other areas, and it's like you still have a lot of room to grow, but at the same time, like you've been successful enough to share on your experiences. So do you guys have any, well, we have about 10 minutes left, but any last minute gems that you could share for like someone, it could be someone starting out or someone that's in the same position as you guys that you think would be helpful?
I mean, I would just reiterate what I was saying earlier. Like for anybody who's producing, like, yes, find some artists locally. Don't just sit in your room and send emails and try to get a placement. It could work like that, but that's the exception. You know, some stuff like that can happen. But I think my big things, I want any like producer or whatever to take away, I guess, who's starting is like, definitely like, find an artist or two, work with them from scratch, like someone around your like experience level. And then also don't put all your eggs in one basket. Like this could be your best friend. Sure. You grew up together or whatever. And like, yeah, he raps and you produce, but like, nah, like you should be able to work with other artists and other stuff out here. And if your artist is weird about that, then that's a questionable relationship. Like that's questionable, you know. I get wanting to have a sound, but like, yeah, you can't take that risk with just one artist. You know, you don't lose anything really by working with like multiple different artists. And I think it just increases your kind of chances of success, your experience, and it lets you kind of try new things, you know? But yeah, I guess that would be my like parting words, and listen to Cyberpunk.
Yeah. I think with me, like, honestly speaking, like, just, if you're starting off, like, the biggest thing I could say is know the importance of a team. Like, yes, okay, say for instance, you are going to get big, right? I could just be one artist, the artist Orion, but one artist is literally a team of people that make up one artist. Like, I look at it like, you know, like, remember like in Power Rangers, like when you they Mighty Morph, like it takes like all these different pieces to become like one thing. Like that's really what it is, man. Like you gotta like have importance of your team, like the structure. Like, yeah, you're the nucleus, yeah, you're the face of this shit, but when you're starting off, just look for people that you know you can gel with. Find you one producer, two producers. I say find three producers that you just know you're gonna sound good with, that can pull out different parts of you. And to have that one person who's not even a musician, who just is very good at keeping you on track, who's very good at organization, very good at just who believes in you so much that he or she will make emails, will start sending emails out. That's very vital. Just having people who could just take pictures of you. This is all stuff that we've been learning with life that we didn't know at first, but it makes sense now. But just, I think the biggest point I'm trying to make is just know that when you're an artist and you're going to get big, it's not just you. Even though you are even though you're the face of this shit, sometimes you're one of the weakest people in the whole structure. Like you just really just the face. It's a whole team of people, and respect the people who like came with you first. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, just believe in your team and just make sure you surround yourself with people who genuinely believe in you. Like they're not just doing it for a certain game. Like Russ said, yeah, he makes my beats and shit like that, but he's actually a fan of the music first. Like, forget being friends and we knew each other since high school. He legit likes the music first. And when you like something, you will actually see it in your work. And this just shows that, you know.
Who would you guys like to work with in the future? Like your dream people that you'd love to work with?
I think we got a lot of similar dream artists.
I would like to work with Pharrell. I think music should look full circle. If I work with Pharrell, I'll be like, damn, okay, life is funny, because that's really like what I do.
We're gonna tag him in this video.
Oh yeah. Hey, Pharrell, what up? Yeah, but Pharrell and Kanye, just getting production from them, even in a verse, it don't even matter.
My dream is to produce for everybody, man. Everybody I can. Like definitely like my own personal thing would be like Pharrell, Kanye, produce a Jay-Z beat, or have a hand in producing a Jay-Z beat. Like, but I want to do pop stuff. I want to do like some Beyonce songs. I want to do some Ariana Grande songs. I want to do like, I don't know. It's a lot of people. I'm like me and Orion also, aside from all of this music making stuff, are both huge just nerds and fans of music and are just obsessed with music, which I also think is why we have like good taste and why the music is good. But I don't know. We're just like music heads, like before everything, we're just like obsessed with it. And like everybody that I'm listening to now, like I would want to work with. Like,
yeah, honestly, yeah, it's like a big list. If I were to make a list, but yeah, but the GOATs, like what's you know, P, Kanye, and then even like in the indie realm, man, I would love to work with like Lil Dragon. I would love to work with like Subtract or like
Purity Ring, Orion, God,
crazy.
Aluna George or Aluna George,
like shit like that. I would have fun on something like that. You know what I mean?
Sanga Orion beat.
You know what I mean?
We're gonna tag all of these artists. We're gonna do our best to.
Yeah. Tag them.
All right.
Yeah.
Why not? We're all in quarantine. Somebody's gonna see it.
Someone gonna see it. Fuck it.
Then lastly, what's the best way for people to find you and for people to get a hold of you?
My social media, man, Instagram. Yeah, definitely. For the most part, Instagram. But all social media, and I have the same tag. It's going to be at @O_DELASOUL. That's O De La Soul. You can reach me at all of that. DM me, send me an email. My email's in the bio. That's how you can find me. That, Twitter, my handle is the same. So, yeah, you can find me.
Nice. And then what about you, Russ?
Yeah, for me, Rasneek Music on like all platforms, RASNEEK Music. And if you just search up Rasneek on any streaming platform, SoundCloud, you'll see songs I produced and a lot of stuff I worked on. But yeah, just Rasneek, search it up, you'll find me.
Likewise, you can find me around, well, there's a couple artists with my name, but if you go on Spotify.
There are a lot of artists with your name, actually.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. It's a cool name, man.
It's a lot, man. But yeah, I'm the best one. It's ORI. Find me. You will see my head on the thumbnail. You will know that's me. And, yeah, it's just listen to Cyberpunk, man. You find something that you like. There's gonna be at least one thing that you'll like, and that means that we did our job. If you can replay one song, I mean, that means it worked.
I'm happy.
So, can y'all smile for the camera really quick? I'm gonna take a screenshot of all of us.
Cool, yeah, sure.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Cool.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for having us, for real. This is cool.
For real, man.
Yeah, it was fun chatting with you guys. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. Wash your hands.
Yeah.
Thank you. You too. I'm here touching my face and everything. I'm
yeah, right. I'm like,
okay, you're in your own home.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm germ free over here.
Cool. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Hey, I just noticed something. I be booted at the function. I never worry about the fuck shit.